Hi, my name is Fiona, and in this video we're going to go over 5 essential plant tools that you will need to keep your plants happy throughout the winter. This is a thermometer and a humidity gauge that I got from Amazon. It's from ThermPro, and once it has the battery, it just turns on automatically. So on the top here you have the humidity gauge. It has like a sad face on top. That's usually when the humidity drops below like 20%. And when it's within like 20% to 60%, it's like in this comfort zone. When it's too wet, like too humid, it'll show you with this like very wet sad face that it's not showing right now, about the range that I want to be in, between like 40% to 65% humidity. And then on the bottom is where you have the temperature. So right now indoors the temperature is 78 degrees, which is comfortable, how I like it. Depending on if you're Fahrenheit or Celsius, there's like a button here that you can change from Fahrenheit to Celsius. I'm used to reading Fahrenheit, so which is why I have it on Fahrenheit. Tropical plants usually don't like temperatures that drop around 65 degrees. So the plants that I have here, they don't like it when it's below 65 and it starts showing signs of stress. So this thermometer tells me that I'm in a good range of temperature. There's a strategy on where to place your thermometer. You don't want anywhere where there's drastic temperature changes. For example, right where there's direct sunlight, because then your thermometer will show like 100 degrees, which is not accurate. And also don't place it anywhere near a humidifier, because then the humidity gauge will not be accurate. It'll be very wet, which is not true. You want to place it somewhere neutral and also accurate, close to where your plant environment is. So I like to place it right here on the plant shelf, where it's away from the direct sunlight and also away from the humidifier, so you kind of get like the overall temperature and humidity of this area. The next tool you must have is a humidifier. I cannot stress how important this humidifier is. Throughout the winter, the heat turns on so the air dries up really quickly, and before I had the humidifier, it would drop below 20% humidity. It's too dry for the plants, and it's also too dry for me. Like 20% is too low. So this humidifier is very important. The one that I'm using right here is the Eli Combs one. What I like about it is that it has a really big tank, so it stores a lot of water, and also it has a auto mode, so I can set it to not go above like 65% humidity. Another thing what I like about the Eli Combs is that it has a 360 rotating nozzle, so I can direct where I want the humidity to go. This humidifier is very easy to use. It's a top fill humidifier, so all I have to do is open the lid and fill up the water in this reservoir over here. This has a summary when you're looking for humidifiers. Look for ones that are top fill, that has a auto mode, and also has a big water tank, so it'll last a long time, so you don't have to refill it every single time, every single day. As mentioned in my winter care video, you have to cut back on watering. In the winter, your plants need less water, and also the temperatures are a lot lower, so the water doesn't evaporate as fast. So what I do to help me gauge when I need to water my plant is using a Susty aquameter. So this over here is my Philodendron Prince of Orange, and it has a aqua Susty meter right here. It has a color reading, so when it's white, that means it has to be watered, and when it turns blue, that means the plant has been watered. What you do is that you stick it into your pot of soil. There's a arrow over here that tells you what is the level that needs to be below the soil. So all you have to do is stick this into your soil. I don't use this for all of my plants. I just use it for plants that I haven't figured out the watering for. So for example, this Prince of Orange was actually from my plant shelf in my living room, but I saw that it wasn't too happy there. So I decided to move it over here in my dining room area where there's more natural light. And since it's kind of in a new condition, in a new environment, I figured it would help to have a aquameter to determine the watering schedule it needs in this new space. In this This lower section of my plant shelf is my plant ICU. The plants here are more finicky. They're either recent propagations or recent import that need more love. And it's even more important that I have my heat mat here. This heat mat is set on the perfect sweet spot between 65 degrees to 85 degrees. So that's actually used for seed germination, so it's the perfect temperature for these plants. This heat mat I have on 24 hours a day, basically all year round, and I haven't had any problems with it. I do notice that the plants root a lot faster when they're on the heat mat. Like this pink princess that I got from Plant the Studio. Before, it had like really tiny roots. On the heat mat, the temperature encouraged the roots to grow faster. I'm in the process of upgrading this section. There's a lot of things I want to do with it that I haven't gotten to yet. Like, for example, I bought acrylic glass to enclose this section off to retain more humidity. Another reason why I want to enclose this is because it's right up against my heaters. This is pretty bad, especially in the winter. If you guys want to know why I did it, you can check out my winter routine care video. I recently added these grow lights as supplemental lights for the plants that are down here. I realized that in the winter, especially on a gloomy day, the natural light doesn't really hit the plants that are here. So I installed this grow light, and I don't have it on today because it's a pretty nice day, but on a gloomy day, I just hit the switch to give these plants some extra light that it needs. This is from Mother. I like it so far. I've seen some more growth due to these grow lights. For example, my Hoya fishtail, I noticed like 2 little leaves that sprouted. I have grow lights in other areas of my house that I can show you. I also use my grow lights here. This is right by my entrance when you walk in. I do have a skylight here which gets a lot of natural sunlight in the summer, but in the winter it doesn't really get that much light, which is why I have this grow light for my Philodendron Florida Ghost and also my Philodendron Scroiferum. This grow light that I have here is actually one of my earliest grow lights. I think I've used this for over 2 years now, and the reason why I chose this is because it was like fairly affordable. I think it was like 20 bucks, and that's when I just started getting into grow lights. If you're just getting into grow lights, I would recommend trying this first, just because it's a cheap investment and you can test out whether or not your plants do better with grow lights. This is my living room where I have my plant wall and my workspace. It has north-facing windows, so generally it has less light than the other rooms. Typically it doesn't get any sunlight other than the summer mornings. Especially now in the winter, I really don't get any direct sunlight, which is why I rely on my Soltech grow lights. And it's on a lighting track that has 2 lights on it that's shining right onto my plant wall. They're on 12 hours a day. Especially now in the winter, they really need that, and I did see a big difference after having these lights on, especially with the plants above. They grow a lot more. If you guys are interested in investing in nicer grow lights, I highly recommend this. This is the same thermostat. I use 2 thermostats because there's difference between temperature and humidity in 2 different rooms. In this room, it's a lot lower temperature, and I think that's because I have bigger windows here, so the heat gets released faster than it does in my other room, which has smaller windows. And also because it doesn't have any direct sunlight, the temperature is also lower in this room compared to my other room. And I realized that the humidity level in this room is higher. I think it's because this room is enclosed in a door, whereas that dining room has a staircase that leads out into the entrance, so there's more airflow and things like that. I also want to show you the newest addition in this room, which is this new humidifier. This new humidifier is from Homedics. I specifically placed it behind my plant so it's hidden and it's not like right in your face. And also I like how it's very easy to refill. You just take this out and you fill from the top, so it's very easy to use. It has a large water tank, so it'll last a couple of days before I have to refill it. It's a pretty big humidifier, so I had to figure out a solution on where to place it. I definitely couldn't place it on my plant wall because it's just way too tall. If I place it on the floor, it wouldn't really do anything for my plants. So I figured I'll place it on my plant stand that I got from IKEA. In order to figure out how to put the humidifier on the stand, I bought a plate from Target that had a wire base, and I just put it on top of the stand so the humidifier can stand on it. And so far it's doing pretty good. It's pretty stable. So we'll see how it goes. In this video, I talked about specific products that I'm using right now, but if you're interested in other brands or other products that I've used before, they're all listed in my Amazon shop. It's important to understand the plant tools to use, but it's also more important to understand how to prepare your plants for the winter and how to keep them happy during the winter. If you haven't checked out my video, you should also check out my video on my plant winter care routine. I killed some plants during my first winter, and I definitely learned a lot from that experience. Now with these plant tools and these new experiences, I should be having 0 casualties, and you should too with all my new plant tips. Let's check in with each other in a couple of months to see how we're doing. I hope you liked this video, and if you found it helpful, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video with all your friends. See you guys next week. Bye!